All righty. So part two of an amazing chat that I'm having with Christian. Let's continue kind of the same train of thought. And obviously before we're talking a lot about passion and I guess the stuff that you've had to deal with in the fitness industry along your journey and everything, and how passion has been a real driver behind that and kind of keeping you on I guess the course and staying here. And kind of, I guess, let's, to a point, like, I'd love to jump into, like, that tall poppy syndrome we were talking about before, and how you were talking about how there's so much of it in the industry, and kind of, I guess, your thoughts on where that comes from as well.
It's funny we bring this up because yesterday I had a Zoom chat with a few other performance coaches and performance center owners, and we were talking about to younger coaches the tall poppy syndrome, and they're worried. They're always worried about, if I put out content, I'm worried that I'm going to get called out, or I'm worried that someone's going to say that I'm not right and all this stuff. And for me, the big thing about Australia is, and the reason why the industry has never developed is because of this tall poppy syndrome, is because there's minimal understanding about what our role is. We're not respected at all in our role. And even if you look at our respect level of our role, we are the first ones to be made redundant during this COVID-19 crisis. I put up a Facebook post of Tasmanian cricket, 9 high-performance jobs were lost in cricket, Tasmania. Now, if that doesn't say that we're not respected in terms of our profession, nothing will. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, we're respected, we're fucking not. We're actually, more than anything, we're being disrespected because we play such a vital role in terms of the overall development of an athlete. And I couldn't give a flying fuck if injuries pop off, and I hope they do, because and then at some stage the cops will turn around and go, we need proper educated, we need to start paying these people what they're fucking worth. But the issue is, Josh, is too many people willing to take no money just for the sake of saying, I wear this jacket or whatever. And yes, I'm wearing my mate's jump. This is Chandor's, by the way, so shout out to Chandor Earl at Storm. But they're more worried about the logo they have on their chest and getting respect in terms of remuneration, but also it's not always about remuneration, but it's also about understanding what our role is. Now, if you don't understand what our role is, you're not going to get any respect, and the clubs are going to think you're a dime a dozen. That's pro, semi-pro, amateur, and weekend warrior. So I think what happens is, because there's no jobs, we all kind of fight each other for these jobs. We bag each other out. And I'm going to admit I was probably one of the worst ones. Not when I was younger, because I was younger, I didn't really understand it. But the older I get, the more mature I become, the more I understand that it's about helping us all together develop and developing the industry together. And I think this whole thing about tall poppy syndrome is trying to cut people down. And instead of cutting people down, we should all work together as one cohesive unit to build each other up, to stop our industry and to stop our profession looking like we're a bunch of fucking morons who just chop each other down. And the second thing is to all work together to educate everyone, parents, athletes, coaches, students, about what we do as a profession. And what happen then is, instead of us bagging each other out, we're going to look more professional, we're going to look like we are one cohesive unit, and we're going to look like we've got one goal, which is athlete development, introduction, and it could be just training in general. But the biggest issue that I find with this tall poppy syndrome is because there's such a low barrier to entry to this industry. And this is the issue. When it's such a flooded industry, there's minimal jobs. You think about it, Josh, you can get a job, right, in professional sport by just who you know. You let's say, for example, my mate, right, a few of my mates, they've got undergrad, they've got masters, they might have honours, they've done work experience for years, yet they lose out on jobs to people who aren't qualified, but they know an athlete, or they know a high-level athlete, or they know a coach, and they just get a job. So, number one, the barrier to entry is too fucking low. I mean, I reckon a 13-year-old could do it. It literally passes first 3 and 4. It's that easy, right? What's a humerus? What's a femur? For fuck's sake, what are we, 12 years old? That's the first thing. The second thing is, the industry is fucking flooded. Who protects our title of our name? No one. And that people say, oh, the governing bodies. The governing bodies don't do shit. They do nothing. People go, oh, what should we do, like a picket for a change? Like it's like what is called, like not a governing body. Shit, I was talking about it yesterday. What's the word, Kieran? Not governing body. When you all come together as a profession. What's it called? What's it called when you all come together as a profession? Josh.
No idea.
Organisation.
No, shit. Anyway, someone said we all come together and it's something to do. It's like a governing body, but it's not. It's to get better rights. It's for better rights and stuff like that.
Oh, like a union.
A union. That's it. They want to unionise. Unionise never going to happen. We're not fucking on the docks. Yeah. It's not like there's multiple jobs. It's just stupid. It's not going to work. The issue right now is once it's consistently going to be the same issue. The university is going to push the courses. The courses are undergrad to masters, and then you don't get a job. And then you've got a massive HECS bill that you're never going to pay back, or you're never going to work in that industry. Here's one way you can fix that issue. Every time a student gets a job, the universities get paid. When I say gets a job in that industry. And I can guarantee you, these universities wouldn't be pushing that hard on saying that they're going to work in pro sport. I guarantee you, these universities aren't all going to have a master's arm in sport science, high performance sport. The issue is they bullshit the students, and it's like a circle jerk fest between the governing bodies and the universities. It's money. And if you're watching this and you're a young student, money makes the world go round. And then you think at the time that uni's scared, they don't give a flying fuck. As long as they get paid, that's all they care about. And I'm the only one with balls to say it how it is. The unis ain't going to help you. The governing bodies aren't going to help you. So who's going to help you? Well, people like myself, people like Josh, people who actually are in the trenches every day doing this for a job. This is my profession, full time. The chances of young kids now working in professional sport, and my mate message, and I'm mates with a high performance manager at AFL level, and he feels sorry for them. He was saying to me yesterday, he said, I feel sorry for the young kids coming through now because the chance of them getting a job in professional sport is slim to none. Because now that COVID-19's happened, Josh, you're going to get the chances of getting paid in pro sport are minimal. You're not going to get a job. So all these uni courses saying you're going to work in high performance sport is an absolute fucking lie. And this is to answer to your question about tall poppy syndrome. It's gone a long way around it. But what I'm saying is this is all affected to how we all treat each other, but also that tall poppy syndrome is all stimulated based on the fact of insecurity because there are no jobs, and it all stems from these issues of too many courses, too many graduates, and not enough jobs. And this is what happens with the tall poppy syndrome. And someone says to me, I was talking about it yesterday, the best way you can avoid criticism is by doing nothing. So if you want to sit back and do nothing, that's great. But you're not going to be relevant, and you're not going to do anything in your life if you want to avoid criticism. So my advice to any young coach or anyone in any industry, if you actually want to do something really great and you want to become whatever you want to become in your life, you're going to have to accept criticism, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, you can either accept that and sit in the corner and cry, or you can take it and not let it affect you, good or bad, and move forward. And winning is done by taking what Rocky Balboa, take it on board, keep moving forward. I think that's what I've been able to do, is keep moving forward. Regardless of what anyone says about you, you have to keep moving forward, because if you're moving backwards, that's no good. But if you're moving forward, I mean, it never used to affect me. Early days it probably affected me, and then it got to a stage where my life got too much to handle and probably did affect me. Now, for me, I know who I am. I'm 33 years old, 34 in October 14th, Josh, any present send them to Woodford.
All right. I'm writing them down now.
Here. I just know who I am. If you know who you are and you've got a good heart and you actually care about people, you'll do fine. But the minute you start kind of trying to do something you're not really, not in your heart, or you don't really want to do, and I said this yesterday in the status, if you don't want to do this job or you're not truly passionate, do not do it, because you're going to last about 3 months. I think the average life of a personal trainer these days is 3 months, which is nothing.
Oh, it's crazy. And like 3 months, it's you most of them, that's probably as long as they took to do their course as well.
Correct.
Yeah. And I guess like the thing as well, like you said, like with the tall poppy syndrome, and like you said, like the young coaches fearing criticism and everything. And I think for myself, like, go back 2 years and I was 100% there. I was like, man, I don't want to really put anything out there, because I don't want to be seen as a bad coach or by saying something wrong. And then I guess one of the things that I've noticed in myself and noticed in terms of growth is just going, okay, cool, this is how I do stuff. And kind of like what we said the other day is going, everyone's going to have their slightly different modifications for everything. Everyone's going to have their kind of like they'll rather do something over the other. Like you always talk about trap bar deadlift over normal deadlift, where someone else might love normal deadlift over a trap bar. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what your experience is and where you come from.
sorry to jump in. You can have, this is the best way I think of it. You can have 5 coaches, 1 athlete, all the 5 coaches programming differently, but all get to the same goal, which is performance or whatever the intervention you wanted to achieve out of. Because there's many ways to skin a cat in this game. You know, just because I say this is just what works for me, as long as you're applying fundamental sports science principles into practical sense. And this is why I always say methods are many, principles are few. Apply principles, not methodologies, not training systems. Too many people get married to training systems, not principles. Married to principles, not training systems, and trust me, you'll start getting results. But when you start worrying about what other people say you're wrong, for me, I couldn't give a flying fuck what anyone says. At the end of the day, I get results for my clients. So they pay me to get results. I'm not sitting there going, oh, fuck, I'm worried about a study. The study means nothing to me. Art dictates the science. So art will drive the science, right? If a study comes out and reaffirms what I know in 10 years' time, great. If not, who gives a shit? If it proves it, if you did a training intervention and the training intervention wanted to improve 20-meter speed and vertical jump performance, and that intervention did do that, no one can say it's a shit program. It worked for that individual. Let's say it didn't, then you've got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what worked, what didn't, modify it, and then do it again. And that's the art of being a coach. And remember, what we do is half art, half science, half theory, half application, 50-50. Yes, the science is important, but it will never, ever, ever overtake the art of being a coach. And this is what people don't understand. So many people with PhDs, masters, I have it honest, doesn't mean shit to me personally. Someone goes, oh, he's got a master's. I couldn't care. It's the ability to coach. That's why I've met personal trainers who are better than some coaches with master's degrees, because they communicate, they build relationships, and they just do the basics. They don't worry about the fancy. I'm a big simplistic guy. I like to make simple things even simpler. The best coaches can do that. If you can't break a complex topic down and make it simplified, you don't understand the topic to begin with. Yeah. And that's what people do. When they're insecure, what they'll do is they'll bring big, like physios, right? Jamming up your ass, physios. Your fucking ass, right? So this is what I think of physios, right? That. Now, I will say one thing. Some physios are getting better, but most physios, they tried to drive me out of business a few years ago, right? A lot of them tried to because they're insecure fucks, right? And Josh, I'm telling you, man, I said years ago, go back and look at my videos, right? If you guys are watching this, right? Go back and look at my previous videos. I said this would happen. Exercise-based rehab has always been number one. Passive rehab, what physios do, manipulation, dry needling, it's a wank. Man, exercise-based rehab, who are the exercise specialists? We are, and I've always said that. Now, back in the day, physios used to always say this: deadlifting bad for your back, squats bad for your knees. Hey, look what's happening now. Look at all the research. And all those physios out there who bagged me out and said, oh, it's bad, you know, you're going to hurt your lumbus, or like break your rate. Like, they use big words because they're so insecure. Yeah. Hey, physios, calm down. We're taking over now, not you guys. We are. And if you want to work with us, that's fine. But you've had the market for way too long. They've had the market for way too long. Now we've got it. I'm your daddy now. They should all be calling me daddy. So they'd be saying Daddy Wood. That's what they should be. Fucking morons. Anyway, next question.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. Like I've had clients come in the past as well going, hey, I've seen 5 different physios, I've seen 5 different chiros, I've done everything. And I'm like, cool.
How true is that though? How true is that? They haven't done any exercise-based rehab though, have they, Josh?
No. And I literally just say to them, I'm like, cool, give me 3 weeks. And if there's no improvement, and then you can go. Because obviously they're coming going, oh, I'm a bit hesitant. I'm like, give me 3 weeks. Let's see if there's any improvement. One session or 1 week, they're like, wow, I feel so much better. Yeah. And I'm like, cool, it's not done, but hey, this is what we can do. This is what you should have done in the start. And they're like, why didn't anyone tell me? And I'm like, because they don't want to lose your money type of thing.
I can't tell you how many times this happened to me, right? I've had people come to me and I deal with backs, lower back pain, hamstring strains, ACLs, lateral clutch or medial clutches, PCLs, shoulders, you name it, I've done it. We've rehabbed it. We've created rehab reconditioning programs. I can't tell you how many times they've come to Woodford and they've gone, I've seen this physio, this osteo, this chiro. I've seen them on and off for a few years. The pain, I feel good for 24, 40 hours. The pain comes back. I don't feel stable. I don't feel structurally. I've never done exercise-based rehab, never done strength work, never done power work. None of that. One session, Josh, they never feel better. So for anyone out there, if you're injured, for fuck's sake, yes, in terms of physio, osteo, are good at diagnosis, early stage treatment. But if you're 6 months into an ACL post-op and you haven't done any strength work, I suggest you fire that motherfucker right now. And you call me or Josh, and you call me now or him now, because you will not get any better. And jam it up your ass for these professionals who call themselves professionals. And do you know what's funny, Josh? There are some professionals that we deal with who refer. But how many refer, Josh? Not enough. It's just disgusting, mate. Josh, Josh, they know right from wrong. Do you know what they do? They hold them because it's all money, bro. It's disgusting. People might turn around and go, I'm arrogant, I'm this, I'm that. Do you know what? I couldn't give a fuck. But one thing I am right because I actually care because I refer on to the right practitioner. These motherfuckers, these scumbags, what they do, Josh, is they hold them because it's money for them. They make me sick. And I'll call them all out. And do you know what they do? They give them a generic strength program and they don't coach them. They don't individualize. They don't modify it. Stop coming to my fucking area, you pricks, or I'll call you all out. Sorry.
That's all right. No, that's all right. Some of the...
Exactly. For years, it's done my head in, and I'm sick of physios. And physios have had the run, and this is not just against physios. Any allied health practitioner, they've had the run for too long, Josh. For far too long, they've got away with it because their fucking name. Enough's enough. If I find out what you've been doing, and people send me crap all the time, I'll destroy your company. I'm sick of hearing it. Because I'd rather come to my people. This is my area. This is our area. Yeah. If you're with me, you're with me. I will always back applied sports science strength conditioning coaches. They're my people. And this is no race. This kind of sounds like a bit of a race war. Like this is my area, my people, my coaches. I couldn't give a flying fuck about any other profession. My profession's my love. I truly love my profession. I'll go down swinging for it because not enough people, Josh, stand up for what we ask because they sit there, they write these stupid like example like our governing body ESSA writes these intern issues, right? And how interns don't get paid. And they write this like 1-page document about how you should pay interns. No one gives a crap about that. You've got to call them out. People might not like me, but you have to call them out. That's what you've got to do. You have to call them out. 100%. And if you don't call them out, nothing's going to get done. People might not like me. I don't care though, because at least I'm doing something. No, the thing is, at least I'm calling people out because then the second time they're going to start to worry, aren't they? They're going to go, well, this guy's got to be enough profile. He's going to put a bit of pressure on us. We'll keep him happy. Yeah. I'm sick of it happening, man, because good people, like coaches who actually want to make a profession, they get beaten. And what happens is these allied health professionals, they lie, man. They lie to the athlete, and because people believe an allied health professional over us, because that's how they've always done it, bro. Back in the 1980s, I'll go see a physio, I'll see a chiro. Now it's starting to change because we're getting people start going, why am I seeing this person for 6 months when I've seen Josh or Woodford Sports Science Consulting and they've fixed us in 2 weeks? Yeah. It's all changing.
100%. And I guess like you said, just like a little bit before, like some of the programs that clients have brought to me from their physios, and like, hey, it was good at the start, but now it's the same. And I'm looking at it going, what do you mean? Like this is something you can literally just Google and print straight off the internet. And I'm like, there's nothing in there. And there's like 6-week program and everything's exactly the same. And I'm like, what do you mean?
That's what they do. They Google it. What they'll do is they Google it. It's a generic program, which one we all know cookie cutter isn't individualized whatsoever. It's useless. It needs to be individualized based on their body type, their injury history, their goals, their movement competency, all these other in-season, off-season, pre-season. Man, what annoys me, and I'm going to go on about this, but this is what fucking annoys me, Josh. This is a good snippet, so we can use this, right? This is what annoys me. This is my fucking profession. I've been doing this for 15 fucking years. I've been at the mountaintop, right? For them to take the piss out of us, Josh, I don't know if it annoys you, but it annoys the hell out of me because they think they can write a program that's so simple and easy, and they go, oh, exercise programming, exercise coaching is so easy. Hey, assholes, stop doing it because I'm sick of it. Because, man, this is our profession. You're taking shit on our profession. All you motherfuckers, all you do is you massage and you put needles in. I don't make it a war, but if I have to, I will because I'm sick of it. Man, this is our industry, Josh. Yeah. And people go, oh, you can just exercise is easy. Everyone does it. Everyone does it, right? I'll put my knowledge of exercise-based rehab and coaching versus yours, and we'll put it on Skype, or we'll film the whole thing. I'll come. You know what? Any practitioner who thinks want to come against me, any physio, right? Any osteo, let's do this. I'll bring my camera to your work, and I'll bring my camera to your work, and we'll film it, and we'll see my knowledge via your knowledge in coaching, and we'll see where that goes. But they won't do that because they're happy to sit back and write these crappy programs, and they bag us out. I'm sick of it, man. It does frustrate me, but it is getting better.
Yeah. 100%. To take a little turn, I guess,
A little turn.
kind of going back into, I guess, to the point of everything being saturated and everything, and people just being able to jump straight in. And I guess you've talked about this a little bit as well, and you've had your, maybe not more than just a little bit, but obviously having the people online that are, obviously don't have any experience and whatnot. And I guess to a point, like, from your experience, do you think people are starting to get clued into the people that are just like fake compared to the people that actually know what the fuck they're doing?
Before I begin this answer as well, I just want to say that I have nothing against physios, osteos, chiros. If they don't come into everyone should stay in their lane. There's going to be some crossover. If you're a young physio and you might say, well, what's my area? Work with the appropriate strength and conditioning coach. If you have to pass on, be professional and pass them on. Please do not turn out like every other asshole and think you can do everything, because I can't, either can you. That's what I'm saying, okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, talking about, do I think people are getting more understanding? Yeah, of course they are, because people like myself are starting to come out and say, if you have a degree or you are educated and you have applied, this should be the professionals you look towards, not some chick who's half naked on Instagram who can take a good photo, or some dude who's under 3.5% body fat. It doesn't work that way. We need to stop looking at these idiots and giving them attention. That's the issue. And or even so, man, there's people like who do the most gimmicky shit, and people call it sports specific, like the guy who moves his hands real quick and they call it agility, or that guy who's supposed to be he's in America, he does like all this weird stuff with the NFL, and it's just stupid. Like, we're just giving them, we shouldn't give them attention. That's the issue. But do you know what? People who don't understand, Josh, what proper S&C is and applied sports science, strength and conditioning, they're going to buy into that, bro. All we can do is educate as much as we can on the fundamentals, the basics. And we all know the basics are boring, but the basics work. And until we start educating people on that, nothing will change. And we need to fight fire with fire anyway, because at the end of the day, we have something that they'll never have, which is integrity, because they all sell out. They've got no integrity. And the second thing is, we have knowledge. They've got no knowledge. They're about as dumb as that brick wall over there. You knock on the brick wall, they've got nothing to say, because that's why they have to. These chicks have to be half naked. That's why these dudes have to be half naked. They've got no knowledge, Josh. And that's the thing that will always win. We always have knowledge and we always care. And I'm in for the long game. I'm 34 this year. I'll be in this industry till the day I die. And I'm here for the long game, just like you are. So I think people are starting to understand a lot better. It's still got a long way to go.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess a little follow-up from that, and I guess from my point of view, and I think this is kind of a big thing as well, is that the people that are just, fake and half naked and whatnot, they tend to just market more, because to a point, they don't know that they're speaking on, because they don't know anything. So they're just going, okay, cool, let's just do this. Whereas I guess, like you said before, with the tall poppy syndrome, I guess with our industry, because everyone kind of tears each other down, we kind of hold back a little bit. And then we don't get that necessarily that exposure that everyone can see who we are. Whereas kind of like you've just gone, fuck it, let's just do it. And then that's kind of how to create the audience. I guess is that kind of where you think one of the issues is as well, like that we don't necessarily aren't out there as much? Or
yeah, 100%. I think my big strength is just throw it out there. I have this. I think my biggest strength is not giving a fuck and just putting it out there. Too many people, it's called over-analysis, paralysis by over-analysis. People over-analyze everything. What's he going to say? I couldn't care less. I'm just in my own world. And that's an issue sometimes, because you have to, there has to be structure and it has to be organised, and it's got to be prepared for it. But my big strength compared to anyone else is I just throw it out there. I don't really care. If you like it, I know what I'm doing. I know I get results, and I'm just willing to put it out there. A lot of people worry. So many people, when I first started, were like, fuck, you got balls. Aren't you worried about what they say? Or not really. I've never really cared about what anyone really says about me. Not even my own parents. I don't care really. It is what it is. People can say what they want about me, and then it's not going to change who I am. I know where I'm going. I know where I was going from year one. I told people, I said, I want to be the #1 performance center in the world, not Australia, the world. I'm not going to take Australia. I want the world. And I'm 8 years in. September 14th, 8 years in. By the time I'm 10 years in, I want to be known as one of the best. But that takes time, and you have to chip away at that. And you have to give high-level content for years, and you have to want to help people. And this is where you have to be willing to go on podcasts. You have to. A lot of people go to me, "Why do you go on podcasts? Why not to help other people?" A lot of people look at other people's podcasts and go, "Oh, they don't have enough reach or whatever." And for me, it's like, well, I don't look at it that way, because I look at it if you've got a podcast and you want me on it, that's humbling, number one. Number two, if I can help you get more reach and more people towards you because you're actually trying to do a good job, why not? Why not help other people in this industry? But so many people are like, I'm not doing that for free. I'm not giving away free content. Newsflash, you're not that good. I don't know about you, so you can't be that good. So shut up and try and help the industry. What have you done to help the industry? Like, someone might say, "Oh, why is Josh?" They're not saying this, but why has Josh got a podcast? Why not? He's got a podcast. Who cares? He's got a podcast because he's trying to help people, and then he gets psychos like me on. So why not?
Well, I think a lot of that, like you said, like he's just do it and not necessarily care about what people say. Like it kind of comes back to that first thing we talked about in part one, is just that passion. Like if you don't have the passion, if you don't want it with everything, then yes, you're going to care about what everyone says. You're not going to necessarily just put it out there. Whereas I guess obviously with yourself, myself as well, like this is what we live for. This is who we are. So when it comes to, if I'm putting out a podcast and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm doing this so I can give my clients and give the people that I train and I serve more information value. If someone turns around and goes, why the hell are you doing this? I'm like, well, cool. It's not the best, but it will be one day, and I'm doing everything I can to serve our clients. So I guess
you got skin in the game. You've got skin in the game. You're 100%. You're in here. You're 100% fighting this battle. So that's why I respect it. A lot of people throw stones, but they're not 100% in. It's easy to throw stones. It's a lot harder to get in there and put skin in the game. And I feel like a lot of people don't have skin in the game. A lot of people talk a lot of shit. But people who've got skin in the game, I always respect, because it is very hard industry. I've been doing it 14 years, so I'm still alive, so I'm happy. 14 years in the game.
Still kicking. Jesus.
14 years kicking. A long time, man. I remember when I started at Genesis Gym when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, and I got my first job from Billy Parsons. If she's watching, I always thank her because she gave me an opportunity. I was 20 years old. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. Do you know what there was? MySpace. But no one marketed through there. Do you used to market? You used to market by being good at your job.
Yeah.
That's what, bro. I was 20 years old. I'm 34 this year, bro. 20 years old, I started this industry. 20, and I'm still here, and I'm still kicking, and I'm still alive, which is crazy to think. Who would have thought, eh?
Oh, whirlwind of a ride.
Wait. I got Kieran here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Kieran. Kieran's my best friend, my PA, and my operation manager. Kieran, anything you want to say?
No, I'm good.
Kieran, what a woman, eh, guys? She's single. She's a good woman.
Oh my God.
What? I'm pimping her out now. I'm pimping her out. No, she's a good woman. I love her. So she's so Kieran's our operations manager, and she manages me. Don't you, Kez?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Try to.
Were you talking to Josh before to organise this?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. No, she's good.
Yeah.
So Kieran, we're going to go to Queensland. Do you want to come to Brisbane for the Valley? Valley.
Yeah.
How close are you to the Valley? 5 minutes?
Like a 5-minute walk.
Oh,
yeah.
5-minute walk. I've got to come.
Yeah. Perfect location.
Oh, man, so good. Without Kieran, though, being all seriousness, I'll give her a pump up here. Kieran's very important because everyone the one thing I've worked out about business is you can't do it all. So everyone watching, this might be a nugget for you. You can't do it all. And the second thing is you have to get the right people in the right places. So not everyone is going to be the rah-rah front man like me. You don't want two me's anyway. We've got a young kid called Jeremy Brick Borzillo, who, Josh, I don't know if you follow my stuff. Do you know Brick?
I've heard of you refer to him.
And you got to get him on your show. So Brick has got a really good story. So you should message Jeremy Borzillo. I'll get Kieran to message you his name.
Yeah.
Because his story is really good. He came from intern, wouldn't even talk to me, to now he's full-time at Woodford. So he's on a full-time wage. He's great story. He's a power lifter now. Yeah. He's lost a lot of weight. People love his story. He's a lot different to me. And he's got a fantastic No, he is. He's got a good. So I've got him. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got 6 coaches. I've got Kieran, operations. I've got Jeff Woodford as my dad as the CFO. I've got another guy who runs the gym, who's like the gym manager. He's like the day-to-day manager. What would you call that? Duty manager? I wouldn't even know.
Just a gym manager.
Gym manager. And then you've got, who else do we have? Oh, we've got a media guy as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to get right people in the right areas. So if you open a facility, right, you've just got to give, you've got to trust people are going to do their job. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you've got to be able to have each individual role, and everyone knows their roles, because and they know the vision and they know what you guys stand for. Because if people don't know the vision of the company and what we stand for, they're kind of all lost. So kind of we are getting better at understanding what the vision is of Woodford, where we want it to go. We're in a good spot at the moment. I'll be honest with you, we're in a real good spot. We're all starting to come together now. We've got a good team. This is the best team we've had for a long time. Everyone knows their role, and we've got good people. I think that's another thing where I'd rather have good people work for me than idiots.
Yeah.
And you are talking to probably the biggest idiot of the company, but Kieran. But you know what? I don't think I really see myself as I don't know, Josh, if you see yourself like that. I hate seeing myself as a boss. I don't really like it. It doesn't really sit very well with me. I'm a good leader, but I lead differently. Like some people lead by, oh, it's okay. You can, this is Kieran. Oh, it's okay. Sorry, Kieran. Kieran manages like that. I don't manage like that. I don't know about you, but I manage like I lead the way. How I manage is you either come with me or Kieran can deal with you. I don't like Kieran's style is the style you need. My style is I've been taught this way because I've been under guys who are very very, how do I put it, respectful, but you have to work hard. If you don't work hard, you get pretty much abused. I've always been like that. Like, man, my first job when I was 12 years old, I was 5 minutes late and he called me, see you next Tuesday, pretty much. And I went to my dad and I said, Dad, he said this. He said, yeah, he's right. You're 5 minutes late. Don't be late. That's how I've been taught. I don't yell. When I do yell, I can yell. But what I'm saying is, if you don't do your job, just fuck off. Don't waste my time. And the good thing about Brick and all my other staff now is they understand that we are a business. We have fun, but at the same time is they know what to expect from me is if you don't do it, I'm not going to sit there and be like Kieran and be like, oh, it's okay. And Kieran's got a different...
do that all the time.
No.
Like I let you away with it.
She doesn't. No, but Kieran, your style's different to me. What I'm trying to say is...
Oh, it's totally different.
Everyone's got a different style. My style's just like, I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to take them with me. If they don't come, it's their issue. But saying that, though, you need to individualize it to each individual person, where I think Kieran's good at that, where I don't know. I've just never been taught that. I just don't really... I could do it, but I don't really... I just want to coach. And if that's the good thing about Jeremy is he's been really good because he just... If I say something, he'll do it. I do, like, from the start, I've taught him just to do your job and do it to a high level and don't accept mediocrity. And he's been really good. And I've got a good staff. I do have good staff. I can't. Without Brick, without Jeremy, I don't think I'd have this anymore. So that's why you should interview him. Because I probably wouldn't. Oh, would I have, Kieran?
I think you would have potentially lost your business last year.
Maybe lost my business without Brick. So he stood. When you need someone to stand up for you, when I was struggling, he did, and he was really good. And you know what's funny? I got told by I don't think I told Kieran this. I've been told by numerous people now that he treats Woodford like his own, and that's what you want to take the staff to take ownership. Yeah, man. I got told by numerous people. About 3 or 4 people told me that Jeremy is better when I'm not there, and I don't know why. Why do you think that is, Kieran?
Because you annoy him.
Because I annoy him.
Act like an idiot. And don't let him do his job.
Okay, probably that's why. Yeah. No, he's good. He's becoming a real good coach. I'm proud to watch him grow. And then I've got a young kid, Chris DeCranis, who will take over one day because he's different to Jeremy. Jeremy's he's getting a bit more confident, but Chris is 18. I've trained him since he was 15, and when he's 21, 22, he'll be really good to take over from what I'm doing, and then I can do something else. Not something else. I'll always be the figurehead, but I look at doing something else in terms of maybe going to politics or something, and I'm being serious about that. Kieran's going to run my campaign. Kieran, why are you laughing?
Great thing to watch.
Would you vote for me, Josh?
Yeah, 100%. I'll be behind you.
Hey, Kieran, why do you laugh at that, Kieran? She's laughing at me.
Because
Come in the shot, Kieran. Come in the shot. There she is. Kieran, go.
because
Why?
you won't be running, or you'll be running, but I would have to do all the work,
Correct.
and you would
You
just
just run it up in
pretend-
Queensland.
He would just pretend that he did everything and he's amazing when really he's done
This
none
is
of it,
true.
and it's all me.
This is true, Josh. This is true. Kieran, don't be- we're actually in Kieran's, I said this before, we're in her office, and she said before, don't be so loud. And I've already broken that rule. Sorry, Kieran. I'm not sorry at all, really. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to run for politics. That's the idea anyway.
Yeah,
And I got one vote. I got one vote. I'm an idiot.
One's
Hopefully
more than none, right?
Hopefully your listeners are getting something out of this. Give me one more question, sir.
All right. I guess one of the other things I kind of wanted to, touch on as well. I remember part one, we talked a lot about your passion, mental health as well. And I guess one of the things you talked about that you spend a lot of time, and I guess what were some of the tools or some of the things that kind of really helped you improve or not necessarily improve it, or even just manage the stresses of everything and everything along those lines? If that's not too broad.
I don't know. Kieran, what?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. What did I do, Kieran? Kieran?
To what? Manage stresses?
Yes.
He didn't. That was the issue. He
Just
didn't
nothing.
manage his stresses well at all.
Did not?
No, and that's why
Okay, what?
last year is not a good year.
Yeah, no, I think it was just it's a build up, man. 3.5 years of stress.
Yeah.
I had enough. If you watch my podcast with Alex Sandelis, Talking Chimps, I talk about how I was driving and I was punching a car. I had enough, man. 3-4 years of stress and financial issues and getting stabbed in the back. I had enough.
Then I guess you did.
Wait, Kieran. Kieran, I keep moving the screen. Why don't you sit there? You go.
I'm still trying to do mine.
Oh, that actual job. Her actual job.
My full-time job.
You don't need this full-time job soon anyway. It'll be fine. Keep going.
Anyway, well, I think he then employed the right people to help him after he realised that he wasn't handling things very well.
Yeah, I think that.
To be honest.
I think that brings back. Kieran, I just keep. I think it's important to get the right people, and this is what I said before: is to get the right people around you. I just didn't do it, man. I had leeches for. I wouldn't say leech. Some of them were leeching off me, man. I'll be honest, they would just sit there and take money and then get nothing done. But that's just life, man. It's just. I'll be honest, I started Woodford at 25, no business experience, just coaching. I had 25 staff at one stage. I had no business experience, no management experience. And then I was 27 years old with all this money being like, oh, this is easy. And 28 started to all go downhill. Man, I learned more. Bro, I've learned more through my losses than I have wins. Losing, you learn more. You don't want to always, people talk about wins and losses, and no one talks about losses. I would rather talk about my losses than wins because I learned more through my losses and I grew more as a human being than I did through my wins. So I'm proud to say that I've become a better human through this. This process is ongoing. This is not something that Kieran phone. Do you want me to pick it up? This is an ongoing process that I believe that it takes every day. I've got to keep dealing with it. So it's not easy, but I'm getting there. And talking to people like you, it's always good to communicate and talk to people who are doing good things. So I think that just get the right people around you. That's probably my answer.
Yeah, and I think like 100%, like I kind of to a point, like I started the gym when I was 23, came out of uni and I had the opportunity and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let's just roll the dice and see what happens. Like I went from being a PT or finishing uni, being a PT and then just jumping straight into it. And like, again, like there's been people there that have just taken me for a ride a little bit. But majority, I think the thing I've struggled with the most is I've struggled with letting other people do stuff. And I think I can do it all myself. And that for me, that's one of the things that I've had to really kind of.
You got to release the shackles. You got to let them go. You know, you got to trust in the process, and you got to trust people. You've got to put in systems and structures in place, and you got to trust that these people are going to do their job. And if they don't do their job, get rid of them. Plain and simple. Don't let them hang around like I did and keep paying them because you had money. Get rid of them, move forward. And then if you've got a good team, look after them. Don't ever take it for granted. I think that's one thing that I'm learning is don't take it for granted because it can be over. So just make sure you look after the ones that look after you. So I'm going to hug Brick tonight. Sweet Brick.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that's a great ending to part 2 of the 2-part series.
Am I your first guest, Josh?
No, I had Dan Canust. I think you were going to do
Canust, my boy. Yeah, he's a gripper. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I met. The first time I saw Dan was the first time I saw you. I've kind of seen you talking at the fitness summit in 2019.
Oh wait, you saw me talk at the financial, the business summit.
The one with Hayden Wilson that ran.
Yeah.
I was in the room. I was sitting there. I think I was sitting. You were sitting behind me and just like yelling stuff out, and I'm sitting there like fangirling. Like, oh, this is great. Talking to my missus, I'm like, he's the guy.
He's the guy. You that, Kieran? Say it again. Go. So what did you say, Josh?
Yeah, I was nudging my missus. I was like, he's the guy. That's the reason I came.
He doesn't need any more encouragement. His ego.
How did you find my talk?
Yeah, no, it was great. I think it pumped me up the most. I was sitting there. I was excited. I was ready to go.
I love what you're saying into it. So good, man. I'll be honest, I gave it my all, man. I wanted to give you guys so much value, and I wanted to show you guys that it is possible. I'm living proof you can do it. I had my Jason Davies, one of my old operation manager from Casey, come with me. He's a ripper. Still stay in contact with him. He's a great guy. He's one of the staff members I'm still staying in contact with, but he's been brilliant. And we had a real fun day. I missed out on the first talker.
Yep.
I wanted to see, what was his name? Craig Harper?
Yeah, Craig Harper, yep.
Craig Harper. I missed that because I slept in, which is typical me if you ask Kieran. But I enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you got something out of it. And
awesome.
Dan Canust is a legend, real good guy, Dan Canust. And I'm glad you got something out of it. So, and hopefully all your listeners to this got something out of it. And if you get in contact with me, my email is christian@woodfordssc.com. If you want to check out our socials, it's Coach Woodford for myself. It's Woodford SSC for Instagram, both of them. Christian Woodford fan page, Woodford SSC Facebook. Also, I'm on Twitter at Coach Woodford. I'm on LinkedIn at Christian Woodford. And we have a lot of social media. Also, we have our YouTube content as well, Ask Woodford. We have a lot of other stuff that we've done under Christian Woodford and Woodford Sports Science Consulting. So if you guys want to learn more about us, please reach out to us. If you want to reach out in terms of coaching, don't reach out to me. Reach out to Kieran because I'll forget. Email is Kieran, KERRYN @woodfordssc.com. Do you have notes or something you can put in the bottom of this? Or
yeah, probably. Yeah, I can put notes in this.
Yeah, just chuck our socials and Kieran's email there, Josh. That'd be great.
Yeah,
and also you can share it to this podcast once it's done 1 and 2. Share it with me. Give it to Kieran so we can share it across all our socials.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks, man.